My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and it's patisserie week.
Oh my God. I just wanted, when Claire made it rain, I wanted to be like dancing in the purple rain.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was spectacular. Look, I'm going to start by saying that I think that this week is possibly the most difficult week that they've done. And I'm not just talking about this series. I think it's in the last couple. It's one of the most difficult weeks I've ever seen.
Difficult, delicious, and dirty.
And well executed. So it was all of those things. And like the first challenge in particular was just filthy.
Oh my God.
But we'll get to that. So we need to begin by first of all just reminding everybody, go back through the archives this week. We've had a big week. So we started off this week by talking to Stephen from last season of Great British Bakeoff. That was a really fun, spectacular chat. Didn't know what to expect, and my God, is he a wonderful guy. He's
exactly what you're seeing on the TV. He's down to earth, that chap.
He's a lovely young man.
I reckon he'll go places.
And then
Probably London,
definitely.
Maybe Vauxhall.
And then travelling the world, as we heard as well.
Maybe he'll head down to Brighton.
Who knows?
By the sea.
By the sea. And then we also spoke to the amazingly wonderful and talented and funny Emma.
Yes, who I think rivals Kate for all of her accomplishments.
Oh, yeah.
Kate from Great British Bakeoff.
Easy.
In the Ashes, they can go head to
head in knowledge challenges.
The blacksmith and the scientist.
But that was a fun interview, so make sure you check that one out too. It's a lot of fun, and a couple of people, Barb in particular, commented on the fact that her laugh is infectious, and it really is.
It is.
It was just wonderful. Great episode, great chat, great person.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, I'm stalling for a reason.
Why are you stalling, Chris?
Because once again we've made the population of Australia drunk. So it's the last week of the round one of game cards for the drinking game, and look, about halfway through the night I was thinking to myself, no, we're okay.
It's a quiet week.
This is a quiet one, we're going to be okay. Card 1 had almost nothing on it, and card 3 had almost nothing on it. Then I looked at card 2.
Now you booze hounds.
And yeah, by the end, if you had card 2 or card 3 made a late charge.
Well, there was the oven staring.
The oven staring early on.
From Dave to, I think it was Robert, and then, there was a third person staring at an oven in a row.
I found myself thinking, well, they haven't done many shots of wildlife, cut to 8 shots of birds in a row. So and then we didn't have, for the longest time, Maggie didn't say, that's a shame, and then 3 times in about the space of 2 challenges, oh, that's such a shame. I'm like, don't do that to us. So, again, if you actually played along with the drinking game, apologies.
And don't forget to reach out, to AA or other.
It's okay if you've got a problem.
To get yourself some support.
If you've got a problem, people are here to help.
I'll solve it. Check out the mic while the DJ revolves it.
Bake, baby. Din, 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 din. They made sausage rolls, baby. So that was the first challenge. Sausage rolls. Now,
it's a long way to the top if you want a sausage roll. This is really akadaka for the pastry week. I used to sing It's a Long Way to the Shop if you want a sausage roll.
Or a Chico roll, depending on what you were. But this wasn't a Chico roll challenge. So.
No, it was a sausage roll.
And we're not sponsored. And to be honest with you, I don't eat Chico roll, so I don't want your sponsorship, Chico. Couldn't you go with Chico? No, really couldn't. So anyway, Robert began with the spinach and cheese sausage rolls.
And Matt was like, oh, that's a bit safe.
Not really.
No?
Not really.
I don't think it really matters what goes in if your pastry's got to be good.
And so we were starting off with this challenge, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so it's a normal sort of challenge, this one. We're easing in with a normal sort of challenge.
It's sausage.
Then we cut to Chris.
To Grizz.
So we cut to Chris, and...
I think his wife has got the nickname Pastry now after the way he was describing the way he likes to get his fingers in there and work it.
Okay, so this is
his hands dirty.
This is the exact quote, and he knew what he was saying. I know you listen. You know what you were saying when you did it. He said, "There's nothing more satisfying than getting your meat in your hands and working it good."
Oh, no, that was the first one, wasn't it?
That was the first one.
Oh, my God, I cut straight to the fingering. I guess I just don't have
You automatically go there.
handling my own meat.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And And then when they were putting together the different sausage rolls, and they cut to Michelle, and Michelle had different ones, and she was like putting them in different. They went, "Is that what the shape?" And she goes, "No, I'm just putting them together while you're there." And Maggie Beer, straight faced and probably innocent as the day is long, turns around and goes, "Well, a slapping of the meat keeps it together." And at that point, I thought we may need to call emergency services, or we're going to have a knock at the door, because somebody's laugh was so loud, I think they might have thought that we were having somebody murdered.
Or perhaps, yeah, it's true. I do scream a little bit when
There's a bit of a cackle.
When I cackle.
Bit of a cackle.
I think we've also found out the secret to the longevity of Maggie's marriage. Slapping of the meat keeps it together.
Slapping of the meat keeps it together. That's how the marriage stays together. That's how the meat stays bound. Now, I'd like to thank Gabby on Twitter for her comment at this point in time, where she did say, "So if my sausage rolls that I made the other day, check out our Instagram. The duck sausage rolls were in there. That
#humble brag.
That I would have won. Now again, I'm not one to ever compare myself to people inside the shed. That's Brendan's job. That's Brendan's job. By the way, Brendan, you got a couple of days' time. Apply.
Yeah.
#Brendan for Bakeoff.
Yeah, you got to apply before my birthday on Monday, Brendan. Get it in there.
No pressure. No pressure. But apply or else.
Make my birthday a happy one.
We've been dedicating the podcast simply to getting people to get
if you're
you on Bakeoff.
If you were a real fan, you'd do it for me.
Exactly. If you were a real fan, you'd apply just for
my
Kristie.
birthday. It's Christmas.
It is Kristie.
Have I mentioned that yet?
Many times.
Okay.
So
just making sure you all know it's my birthday on Monday. Thank you.
Now I would not compare myself to anyone in there, obviously, and they would kick my ass roundly at all forms of baking. However, the duck sausage rolls were pretty fucking good.
Yes, they were really good, Chris. You have awesome sausage rolls.
Well, funny you should say that, because you did then at one point. The next quote that I've got isn't from anyone on the show. We're sitting there, we're watching, and they're rolling out the meat ready to put it inside the pastry. Mm-hmm. And Chris is there, and he's like got the sausage rolled out there, and Kristie just looks at the TV and goes, "Look how long his sausage got."
Look, like Maggie Beer, I'm as innocent as the days. Who am I kidding?
Who are you kidding?
Because I knew what I was talking about. And I'm pretty sure that's, to scale. Just guessing.
Chris, there's open advertising going on for you, and you're welcome, apparently. And at this, and also during this episode, a little bit later on, when they were talking about the quality of pastry on one of the particular sausage rolls, Maggie Beer goes, you could put anything inside this pastry, which Claire went, "Well, that's an open invitation, Maggie."
I wonder if that's going to take over the new, or they can leave their shoes under my bed,
They can put anything inside this pastry. And in the middle of the filth, in the middle of what was really
a sausage fest,
gutter talk and a sausage fest, rode one shining individual, Barb. Barb, who proudly announced, "I'm keeping it kid-friendly." Thanks, Barb. We appreciate the fact that you decided to keep it kid-friendly in the middle of a sausage fest. However, I have one question in terms of while the filth was going on.
She still made it saucy.
Yeah, she did make it saucy.
Hot and saucy.
But my question for you, Barb, is very simple, which is, you're keeping it kid-friendly in the middle of Innuendo Central. Where's Barb? Like the real Barb? Where's Barb?
They couldn't put her on because it was too much. There was too much of a sausage party going on.
The producers are there going, "Okay, we've had this reference. Oh shit, we're not going to make Watermark.
Bring in the substitute Barb.
We're not going to make Watershed, everybody. Quickly, let's just... Barb, you're kid-friendly. But I've got all these great innuendos about sticking it in there." No. Can't do it, Barb. Sorry, Barb. Can't.
But I've made a great big hole and I could do a visual.
No, Barb. No. But I want them dunking in the... No.
And then I want to say after, "Look, I've got one in the oven."
No, Barb. No, you can't do that, Barb. Okay, and cut to Barb. "I'm making kid-friendly sausage rolls." That's the spirit.
Well done. Okay. Next shot.
Now... we had some interesting bakes. It turned out poor old Marcus.
Oh, We were all Claire Hooper.
When he realised that he'd left the fennel seeds out, and just the look on his face was just anguish. And then when the pastry's falling apart, so they didn't set properly, and the pastry's
propping them
falling
up on apples, not April.
He's propping them up on apples, and he's sprinkling the fennel over the top, which Maggie ended up saying, actually, that worked. I didn't really want the fennel in there.
There you go.
But the look on his face, and just poor Claire, she's like doing everything. She's like, just sprinkle it on top. Yeah, you got this. It's another example of why the hosts are as awesome as they are.
Look, unfortunately for Marcus, he's a fan of girth. Because as Claire said, you could have made it longer, and he had this look on his face, but I like them big.
There was this moment of where she went, yeah, you could have made them longer, and he looked and went, oh. Like there was this sudden realisation of, yeah, I probably could have made those a bit longer, couldn't I? Oh. But Claire did such a really good job with Marcus there, I thought. It was really...
Absolutely.
It was a really well done. And you know, we didn't have jumper game tonight.
No, there was no cardigan whatsoever.
However, general outfit game, bang on again. Well done, ladies.
The green. Oh, love the green on Claire.
And far more importantly, there was somebody who upped their wardrobe game to a whole new level.
I think he was an animal.
It was the innuendo man himself.
Animal. Just quoting Muppets there.
It was the innuendo man himself. Chris, what an apron.
Oh, it was delightful.
That apron was spectacular, and I get the feeling that after this week's
lions
challenge...
and tigers and bears.
Oh my. I get the feeling that after this week's challenge... He's going to keep it.
You can be my lucky apron. Oh, look, bonus musical material. Because I got my voice back now, so I can sing. Not, like, great, but I can...
I was about to say, did you suddenly like get someone else's voice for the singing? Or
yeah.
Still yours.
I'm getting the woman that used to sing for Gem and the Holograms.
The one behind the curtain.
Yeah.
So, poor old Raisa and Marcus had some issues with theirs. Now, we did need to call in Michelle. She didn't have a very good start off bake, but we also needed to call in Michelle partway through the episode. After the spice in Barb's sauce. Because there's one thing we all know about the Great Australian Bake-Off. Maggie Beer does not like spice. No. Both spice in food and probably the Spice Girls.
I think, I don't think
she was an All Saints person.
She's not a fan of heat, you know? The flavouring or the movie.
No, I don't think who is a fan of heat. But so what we ended up getting was Maggie Beer burning a face off on this spicy sauce that Barb made.
That's kid friendly.
It was kid friendly, apparently.
Maggie's like, who are these children from the hell dimension?
And at that point, I'm thinking, yes, quick, break the glass. Michelle's in.
Yeah.
Right, Michelle, you might have just saved yourself here. You can go and be Maggie Beer for a day. Maybe Maggie could then do her challenges.
Oh, I volunteered as tribute, though. I was too quick, just shoving Michelle out of the way.
Me! It's all about me! The sausage rolls were really good overall, though. There were some really nice flavours. You've got, Claudia's just consistent. Absolutely rock solid consistent. And Chris's were Chris's, which were incredible. And then... pastry-wise.
Oh, Robert.
It's all about Robert. It's all about that Robert.
No screwed up pastry. It was fucking delicious.
That'll do.
I honestly think we got to see Maggie Beer's O-face.
Many times, apparently. She was really...
Loving it.
Maggie needed a moment. There was some lamination happening. Anyway.
Yeah. Outside for a quick ciggy afterwards.
So it was really... Again, it was a really good challenge. We had some really top-notch sausage rolls. Again, we said before, Marcus...
I think Mrs. Mac will be calling.
I think definitely. Marcus and Raisa said had a bit of an issue, but, nothing too horrendously horrendous, given that Marcus's did fall apart. They still were okay.
Yeah.
Flavours were still okay. So it was an interesting end to the first part of the challenge.
And Reese's didn't have enough fat in them. Good flavour, no fat.
And again, legitimately not bragging, but that is the tricky one thing I did find with those duck sausage rolls, in all honesty, was that it's the mixture of the meat to the fat that's the really hard bit to get right. And
bit of extra skin.
Yeah, you got to with duck sausage rolls. By the way, the trick is to leave the fat and the skin on. If you're using more than one breast, leave the skin and the fat on one of the two, and trim the other one down. And it's the right level of duck fat. So, bit of a tip. Look at me. I'm actually giving
Look
cooking
at
tips.
you. You're like someone who knows how to cook.
I'm actually giving cooking tips.
You're like Poe. Oh, you're like Marion Gadsby at the moment, who's cooking with her mum. It's fantastic. Like, I think it's every Tuesday night about 8 o'clock on Facebook Live. Just check it out. It's hilarious.
I am indeed.
And delicious.
I am indeed like Marion Gadsby in every way. Now we come to the technical. And the technical needs an introduction this week.
Yes. Ooh.
Fraser cake. So...
You're on the radio with Fraser. Hello, Seattle.
Hello, KACL. It's Dr. Fraser Crane. Who have we got on line 1, Roz?
It's Mrs. Walker. She's calling about her missing dog. I don't know.
We are not here to talk about poodles. Anyway, I just love the fact that it gave us a chance, everyone on Twitter, to use Fraser gifs. I'm all for that. The more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. Now, the Fraser cake.
Wasn't soaked in sherry, as I hoped.
Yeah, you were hoping it was soaked in sherry.
Or at least came with like a Daphne on top.
I was I was hoping that it would be presented in a bowl with Anne of Cleves or Catherine of Aragon on the side, but that's a deep dive for Frasier fans there. You get that one.
Look,
so,
I was just in denial about
in denials. So, interestingly enough, the Frasier cake prompted a lot of conversation on Twitter with people going, haven't we seen this in Great British Bake Off before? And the answer is...
Yes!
Season 3, semi-final technical. So that was impressive, the fact that they dragged that out like now. This is where when we said about possibly the toughest week they've done.
Yep.
This is one of the reasons why. This is intricate stuff.
It is.
And on top of all the other layers, the marzipan layer. It's like you got to make marzipan after you make everything else.
After you've made an Italian dictator in custard form.
We had to make Italian dictators in custard and cream
I
format.
just don't know how you can get a Mussolini.
It was quite good.
A lot of whipping,
which doesn't
I
surprise
presume
me.
It's karma.
Doesn't surprise me in all honesty. So it was. Matt was talking about the fact that it was all about precision. Mm-hmm. And you saw that with the judging a little bit when they talked about the strawberries. And were like, those strawberries are cut too fine, or those strawberries are cut too thick, and everyone's like...
there's not an even distribution, yes.
They
all looked fucking good. Even Michelle's that was having a bit of leakage problems.
Even Michelle's, even Raisa's, which looked like a giant pancake. I felt
kind of like it missed the sponge down the bottom.
The moment that Raisa walked over to Barb's bench and went... Your cake looks so good. What happened to mine?
Or she got up to Marcus. How did you do that?
Yes, Marcus, how did you do this? And Marcus is like,
magic.
Yeah.
Dentistry.
But like
the
Marcus,
magic of dentistry.
But like Marcus had a look on his face like, I genuinely don't know. I don't actually know what I did. I just closed my eyes and hoped. I want to know how many of these featured bacon.
The people panicking.
Everyone panicking and just throwing bacon.
Do you think the producers have hidden all the bacon in the tent?
I've got a bit of a feeling that after Robert's statement, that bacon's just being hidden now. There's no one.
It's like they got their instructions about the first thingy, my bobby, and they're like, oh look, we know it's got a savoury challenge, but there'll be no bacon.
There's no bacon.
No bacon.
No bacon.
Bacon shed, and they're like, oh, this is ridiculous. You're taking our bacon away from me, and they're like,
don't take in the bacon.
Yes.
Again, bacon is not a crime. Kevin Bacon showed us this in Footloose. Although some of his later movies, anyway, so it was a really well done challenge. Actually, everyone did a really good job of it. I mean, there was some intricate work. Chris was being really intricate with his strawberries on the outside. Apparently, not so much on the inside.
He's got some pretty good fine motor skills.
Oh, they're amazing. As we'll see shortly, Robert managed to put together a really, again, and this was where the strawberry thing came up again. Matt Moran's only complained about it, and this is one of the reasons that got people to drink. I can hardly fault this. However, the strawberries are all at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like, and put fucking in there, Matt.
Can I just say though, like when it came to the judging, right, it started off with Marcus, like they're like, oh, this is so good, blah blah blah. Marzipan, just a little too thick. And then we get to Barb's and Matt's like, oh my god, if I didn't know a baker had made it, I'd say a professional had done it. And you think, oh, Barb's got this, and then
Claudia
just bitches And you did. You looked at it, and hers just
It
looked...
looked exactly like the one they had outside. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, come on. And that was Barb's reaction. Barb's like, you think you've got it. And then you look, and it's like, oh, come on. You know.
Poor Marcus, he's there. He's like, not once, but twice.
Well, 3 times, because Robert came third.
Yeah, that's right.
So, like, he got passed by everyone. Marcus is going, I've set the pace. This is great. And Robert was very proud, by the way, if you saw on Twitter tonight, of his poker face.
Yes.
When everyone's looking at him and he's like, I'm stoic. You can't tell which is mine, can you? So Michelle was 8th. Dave was 7th, which was a bit of a shock. Raisa was 6th. Chris was 5th. Marcus, Robert, Barb, Claudia.
Yes.
And at this point, I actually thought that Barb was ahead.
I thought she was ahead.
I thought that Barb was just ahead of Claudia at this point.
And I thought she was ahead of Chris as well.
Yeah, I thought that was. Now, I'm not even going to go with the longer words. I'm just going to say mini pastries. So...
Patisseries. Viennisseries.
I'm going to call them visionaries and we'll be done with
Viennettas.
it. Viennettas. So the Viennettas. So they had to make 3 different series of mini pastries.
One of them
had to be croissant.
Croissant indeed.
Had to be croissant.
You know, when I walk into a church, I croissant myself.
You walk into a church?
I have once.
Well done.
I didn't burn.
I don't.
Great.
I just stand outside and look at the view. So we need to address something. And I personally need to address something.
Come on.
Robert willingly made sfogliatelli. Willingly. Like, it wasn't a set challenge. It wasn't being forced upon him. He willingly did this.
I happen to think he's been, like, hypnotised by the sfogliatelli Dracula. And he's like...
The sfogliatelli Dracula?
Yeah, and he's like the dude's name? Oh, I want to call him Rembrandt, but it's not. It starts with an R. Oh, sorry, people. This is why I can't get into comedy. I'm just shit.
He's like Rembrandt.
Not Rembrandt. You know, the dude that's like locked away and he's mad and he's obsessed with Dracula and he'll do his bidding. So I think Robert's just...
I'm calling him Rembrandt from here on in. So Robert is indeed under the spell and is just not prepared to... And look, I like it.
Yeah.
I like his moxie. I like the fact that he's like, no, damn it, I'm going to stretch myself.
He walks up to the table, balls on. Like...
So he presented his sfogliatelli and then they were solid. Rock solid. So I thought it was brave but foolish. I mean... If it worked, though, it was genius.
I did possibly, what the fuck?
Yeah, I did. I went a bit nuts about it.
Yeah.
The reason I went a bit nuts...
Renfield.
There
we go.
The reason I went a bit nuts about it was, again, we've seen sfogliatelli a lot. We literally spoke to Stephen
about
sfogliatelli the other night when we spoke to him on the podcast.
The post-traumatic stress he lives with.
Yeah,
post-traumatic sfogliatelli stress.
He has had that stress. We spoke to Monica during the British Bakeoff series. She has like Vietnam flashbacks.
It is that real. There's in the DSM-6. There's going to be a new post-traumatic sfogliatelli stress.
But Robert seems to be not affected.
No,
and like even still,
it's because he's like hypnotised by Dracula.
Wait till it.
He's the sfogliatelli field. Svolfield.
Well done, Svolfield. So, I thought personally that Raisa saved herself.
She went, okay, do or die.
Which is, again, on the drinking game. I thought,
someone in trouble.
Especially her passion for pastry was...
Matt, you could tell Matt Moran loved that.
Oh, he really did. Marcus... Now, Marcus also got everyone to have a drink by, funnily enough, putting booze in it.
Contro, my favourite.
So, I believe they referred to it as orange liqueur.
It was Contro.
Now, the snails. Snails reignited a slight debate on Twitter from last week.
The raisins.
About raisins in things. And I'm sorry, Barb, my opinion hasn't changed. Raisins suck. Don't care if they're soaked in Contro. All that means is I'm sucking the Contro out. I'm throwing away the raisins. unfortunately for Marcus, while his snails look good, and by the way, Matt Moran is a big fan of raisins, because when Marcus said he was making snails, he goes, putting raisins in there, and he went, yeah, and he goes, good, it's not a snail without a raisin. So for anyone who ever has to make snails for Matt Moran in any circumstance, raisins. So, but apparently his croissant dough was a bit doughy, which is interesting. We had a few people where that happened tonight. The dough was too doughy.
I'm just going to press pause there. Is there a difference between raisins and sultanas?
They're both horrible.
Like, they're both dried grapes, aren't they?
No,
Is one like a dried red grape and one's a dried white grape? Is that the issue?
No, it's, I think from memory, and I'll actually use the internet to check this.
Because prunes are dried plums, aren't they?
Yeah.
And plums are dried passion fruits.
Apparently, according to you, plums are dried everything.
And passion fruits
raisins are dried grapes.
Watermelon.
And sultanas are, so they're just dried grapes.
So are we going American now by calling them raisins?
No, they're two different things. Sultanas and raisins are two different things. I think it's a different process.
Ah, okay.
So, either way, they're both horrible.
It doesn't matter which way they were cursed.
I will take them out of whatever food I have, and I will throw them at people. I have actually been known to throw them at people. Which is fine for them because they're tiny and don't really cause any damage.
It's when you coat them in cement
now,
that it becomes a problem.
Dave.
Yes.
Dave had another one of his Dave moments where it looked incredible, and he brought it up, and the presentation, the basket, and the golden crunch it looked like they had was amazing, and they got them all up to there, and they looked great, and Matt's talking them up, and Matt goes and breaks into the chocolate croissant and goes, it's not crisp.
Yeah. And he did a bit of a Steven. Looks good.
Yeah, and then they had
Style
the flavour,
over substance.
and then they tasted the flavours, and they went, there's no real flavour. We're missing flavour here.
But something we didn't mention in the sausage roll, his were amazing too.
They were really good. So look, Dave had a bit of an interesting week.
I think he's just hit a bit of a plateau. People do that.
And again, it can be tough to just sort of get over that last little ridge.
Robert seems to be pulling himself out of his slump.
Robert had a couple of weeks there where he wobbled. I'm happy the speed wobble seems to be behind us now.
He's checked into the pit.
Exactly.
Had a tyre change.
Claudia, hers again looked amazing, and her lemon verbena was apparently out of this world good.
I honestly thought she was going to hit Star Baker.
Until they checked the croissants.
And
then they said the croissant was actually too soft. So everyone else got it too hard on their croissant.
She just needed to add a little pinch of Viagra.
And the other interesting part was the complaints that we got from Maggie was not enough butter. Now, I like my butter.
She's a butter person.
And by the way, Devondale got themselves a completely new mention this week.
Thanks to Raisa.
The Raisa got them with the pastry. #, you ought to be congratulated.
But seriously, Raisa now needs to be their spokesperson, because who the fuck knew to do that?
Who else has been using Devondale as well and as ingeniously?
What else could you use it for? Sunning, like tan lotion?
Possibly. There are other things, but we're not going into that now. There's movies apparently.
Slippery dip? Like you grease up your slippery dip?
That's
slip
exactly
and slide.
That's exactly it. Slip and slide.
I thought so. Like I said, innocent as the day is long.
Exactly. Barb's. Unfortunately, the proving on everything seemed to be a little bit off.
She was disproven.
Yeah, she was disproven. The croissant was apparently too dense.
She is like, Christian Science. Disproven.
Send your complaint emails to Matt Moran at RM. No, don't send your complaint. We love you, Matt, if you ever listen, which I doubt you.
Doubt you do.
And that leaves Michelle.
Oh, my heart
I was watching Michelle all the way through this, and because I thought that Michelle was in a hell of a lot of trouble, and the brioche just...
It became the thing. I've had an issue with that. It was a pretty warm, muggy day when I made bread once, and seriously, that shit just looked like it was trying to take over the house. And I just felt for her.
You could just see about halfway through the challenge, Michelle had a look on her face with the brioche like, this is sending me home. Yeah. And the brioche didn't quite work. Then it was overproved. The croissant was apparently cakey. And Michelle knew. And they weren't happy with the flavour either. So Michelle knew. So...
But she was twinning with Maggie's outfit. Like, they were both in the orange.
So that didn't go very well for her, and they were twinning. However,
No, she was all ready to step in as a judge if she needed to.
however, the triumphal moment was the last one they tested.
You might have been cheering a little bit for this one.
My God.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a man, a good man.
Yes, he is. Now, so, Chris,
Yes.
that croissant sounded incredible from here, right? They broke it open, and you said you thought we saw Maggie's O face. I definitely think we've seen it now. And Matt Moran's
That's her multiple O face, because they're
Wow.
different. An O face is different to a multiple O face because there's more of a build up.
The way that I called it was that I thought that Maggie's reaction was the anti-bubblegum reaction.
Yeah.
Now, that came from a question that was posed by Emma on Twitter, where we were talking about the spice in the sauce for Barb in the first challenge. And Emma's question was, so, what's worse for Maggie, serving up spice or serving up bubblegum?
Spice.
I argued
Hands down.
I argued spice, and my reasoning was that I thought that bubblegum just confused Maggie, whereas she hates spice.
Spice is her nemesis.
Yes.
You can't be like this ultimate
kryptonite.
warrior.
It
It
is
is
a
a kryptonite. From the Maggie Bee planet, the planet Verjuice.
From the planet Verjuice, where spice is the enemy. It's the kryptonite.
So she's like at war with the planet June.
Yes, definitely.
like,
the
let
planet of
this-
Arrakis, yes.
Yeah, she'd be like,
She's at war with Arrakis, home of June.
There we go.
And if you go to Stately Beer Manor.
So obviously she was the one trying to stop the spice from flowing.
Yes. If you go to Stately Beer Manor,
She's got a war.
you will
with
find a spice rack which is pretty empty. Bit of cinnamon, cardamom, and lots of bottles of Verjuice in place.
Do you think she's responsible for the Spice Girls breaking up?
Definitely.
Do you think she got to Ginger? Like,
think so.
Just to Jerry Halliwell.
I think so.
Marie.
I think so. So then we had one of my other favourite reactions of the episode, which was Claire making it rain.
Oh!
You mentioned it. You made mention of that earlier, but when Claire just broke the
Make
sort
it
of
rain,
apart,
Matt,
make
make
it
it
rain. So Chris was easily Star Baker and very well deserved. Michelle, unfortunately, it was time.
It's sad because it's just,
sad, but it was right.
It's correct. It's not the wrong call. It's just that time of the. Well, we keep been saying that for the past few weeks.
But we really are now. It's really sad, and like everyone on Twitter was really upset about Michelle going home. And as I said, every cloud has a silver lining. She's now free to take up as many Maggie Beer bookings as she needs to.
Exactly. Like if you think you're going to go see Maggie Beer at something, take a double check. Could be Michelle.
Could well be Michelle. Who knows? So that was Patisserie Week.
Michelle should start a blog. You know how there's that Not Quite Nigella?
Yes.
Not quite Maggie.
Where she has to come up with something that she uses that's not quite Verjuice, a little bit off.
She uses balsamic.
Maybe just lemon juice.
Lemon juice. There we go.
Lemon juice and everything. Michelle, there's an idea for you.
Oh,
You're
piss
welcome
off,
to
Chris. Use Uzu.
Nobody should use Uzu.
Use Uzu.
I don't know if I should have you on next week after this.
Oh, go on. What are you going to do about it?
Speaking of which, so we do need to give everybody a bit of a heads up because next week,
I'm going away.
yeah, so it'll be my name's Chris, and then so we're looking for guest hosts.
Hi, this is the Washing Up. We have got a new position on the team. It's a 1-week casual stint. What's that you say you'd like to apply?
How much are you paying? Shut up, you go away.
You're paid in the love of listeners like Brandon Black, who just has been such a joy to comfort us. Why am my advertising voice really shit?
Because that's usually what advertising voices are like.
Oh, okay.
What was the ad you were talking about last night? The one with the old woman who was...
Oh my God. It was like a TVSN, but it was on a normal channel. It was a cool box, a chill bin, a chill box.
A chill box.
Yeah, it's
not
like
a chili bin.
No, not a chill box. It's a chill box, and it's like a collapsible esky essentially. And there's this like old grandma holding one in each hand. They're going, even a grandma can carry one each. And there's this like grandma doing this like hip dancing, holding two up really awkwardly.
We needed her to advertise for a guest host.
Yeah, we'll just get
hang on.
chill box grandma.
Oh, hang on. Let me just check my...
Boop.
I
have mail.
I have mail. So, ooh. I look like I have a host.
Oh, you do?
I do. That will be good. So we've got a host for next week, and I think we're ready to. I think we're ready to sort of go now because I've got. Oh, hang on.
Is that a third?
I've got another host.
2.
Huh.
Well, we're going to have to hold.
I'm going to need to make some phone calls.
You are indeed. I'm going to be finding myself at a retreat. It's going to be great. I'll be very Adina Monsoon.
And you won't be able to hear this because you'll be a long way away.
Except for the colorectal, what's it called? The flushing.
You're not going to have the flushing, no.
What's it called? Not a colonoscopy. It's colon something like colon cleansing.
Yeah, we're talking colons on the washing up people.
Look, it's just a step down from felching, really.
Step down, step up, depends. Could be warming up, who knows?
Okay.
So
anyway, I'll be away.
So yeah, Kristie will be away. We may still have an episode between now and when she goes away.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Who we can get on.
I don't know who we might particularly try to ask for. I mean, not like anyone went home tonight or anything.
No.
Also, I said we sort of mentioned it the other night, but just to give everyone a heads up, as we get closer and closer to the grand final, we're sort of laying tracks like Wallace and Gromit. So the train is moving along. We're running in front, laying tracks in the lead up to when we eventually get towards the grand final week. So just be prepared for that because we've got a few things planned, and it should be spectacular. We're really looking forward to everything we've got going on.
Forward momentum there.
It's lots of good forward momentum. Until then, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
I will catch you next week.
Ciao.